Okay, pay close attention because I'm about to test your observational skills. We need 4 different cards taken from 4 different parts of the deck. Let's go for a 9 of diamonds, this Queen of hearts, a 3 of clubs, and maybe a 7 of hearts, okay? So 4 different cards from 4 different parts of the deck. I want you to mainly focus on the Queen of hearts right here, okay? I'll turn them face down, and did you try and track where that queen is? But we don't need the rest of the deck, we can place them away. But try to follow where that queen was. Did I pick her out first, second, third, or fourth? Or was that first, second, third, or fourth? What if I switch the 2 middle cards around? Now are you confident where that Queen of Hearts is? What if I switch the first and the third card? And maybe the second and the last card? What if I switch all 4 cards? How closely were you watching? Look. Every single card has now become one of the 4 aces. The diamonds, the hearts, the spades, and the clubs. What's up, gang? Today I'm here to teach you a really clean, really fooling looking 4 card switch. You don't have to switch these cards into aces. They can be switched into any cards that help you out in an effect. This is based off the work of primarily of Vernon with his Vernon edition. Also Derek Dingle's No Lap Switch, and then there's work from like Larry Jennings' optical add-on, and even some work from Jay Sankey. So all of these people have some amazing work and updates and additions to the Vernon edition, ironically, and this is just one of these little updates that I've added to the move that for me makes it super ultra looking fair and clean and allows you to do it with the deck spread face up throughout the entirety of the switch. By the way, if you enjoy watching these tutorials and like learning sleight of hand and magic and card tricks, then hit that subscribe button. But let's go and learn how to do this. So this is what you need to do. You need to set this up in advance. However, this can be done on the fly. I'll show you that at the end of the video. For now though, just grab yourself 4 aces or the 4 cards that you want to switch in, and grab yourself some twin cards. So in this case, I'm going to use the 2 black queens, but any 2 cards that are identical in value, like a 2 black 9s or 2 red 9s, but the cards that have like a busy design on them. You can go as far as using a duplicate for this, but I'm telling you now, it is overkill. In the 15 years that I've done this, you will never ever be spotted on it because their attention is elsewhere. So with that being said, we're going to do a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to note the bottom card, whatever's or the top card even, whatever's this random top card of the deck, I'm just going to pay attention to it. So this is a 5 of clubs. Now I'm going to take my 4 aces, I'll take one of the queens, place it face down on top of the face-up aces, and that all goes to the bottom / top of the deck, and I'll leave the last card, the queen, the other queen, on the face of the deck. All right, so my setup is, on the face of the deck I have a black queen, and then from the top down I have 4 aces face down, a face-up queen in the 5th position, and the card directly after that queen is the 5 of clubs. And this is what's going to happen now. When I'm ready to begin, I turn the deck over and say we're going to take out 4 cards at random. And as I take the cards out, I'm going to up jog them quite high from the deck. And as I go through each one, I'm going to try and make like a fan with the cards, like as if I'm holding a fan of cards. And by the time I get to the 4th card, and it doesn't matter what these 4 cards are, I'm going to try and be as close towards the bottom of the deck as possible. All right. So in this instance, we have the 5 of spades, the 6 of spades, the jack of clubs, and the 3 of diamonds. What I'm going to do is, whilst the cards are still between my 2 hands being spread, I'm going to say I want you to pay attention to, and I'm going to call out one of the more odd cards. So in this case, like the jack of clubs stands out pretty well. But as I'm doing this, I'm spreading carefully over until I see this 5 of clubs, all right? I don't want to spread any more because you'll see that face down card. So I'm spreading over until I see that 5 of clubs. And as I do this, I'm just going to spread just the tiniest amount so that I can see the lip and an edge here, okay? I don't want to go too far because they'll see that black border, but I just want to basically be able to create a step underneath the deck where I can riffle that 5 off from the other cards, allowing me to get a break here underneath the face down queen. okay, or above the face down queen. So at speed, I'll pick out four of the random cards. I'll say I want you to pay close attention. We're going to take 4 cards at random. So let's go for like a 2 of diamonds, maybe a 10 of diamonds. I'll take out a 2 of spades, and let's go for a king of clubs. Now, I want you to pay close attention to the 10 of diamonds. And it looks like I've done nothing, right? But underneath the spread, I've got myself a pinky break right here underneath the block of these 5 cards, just like that. And now here's going to come the biggest sort of change in any of these moves developed by like Larry Jennings, or mainly Vernon and Sankey and everyone, is that normally we would try and secretly shift these cards forward and take everything out at the same time with the right or my left hand, my dealing hand. But I'm not going to do this. I'm going to break the move up into 2. So with my spread of 4 cards here, because I've called out this 10 of diamonds, and you can use any sort of excuse to do this as you want, I'm going to place my right hand between the break, pinch hold of the deck with my right hand thumb. Okay, so I have these cards basically free, almost like in a cop. And as I say, pay close attention to that 10. And I'm going to bring these cards forward underneath the fan as I tap the 10. So it's motivation to just come and just tap that 10, just like I'm drawing attention to it. Say, keep your eye on that 10, all right? And now my index finger on my right hand is going to pin these cards in place so I can bring my hand back. Okay, I'm going to bring my hand back underneath the deck, back into dealer's grip, and I'm going to use my index finger to push up on the block of cards into that fan. All right, so at speed, we'll do this one more time. I'm going to run through the cards and I'll say that we'll use like the 8 of hearts, maybe we'll use the king of spades, let's use 2 of spades, and maybe even a 7 of hearts. Pay close attention to all of these cards. They're a random spread of cards. And in particular, I want you to focus on this king of spades here, okay? And now I'm in this position where, because I'm pushing these cards up into the fan, without any awkward sliding moves or trying to use my thumb like some people have, or trying to use my pinky like a Fred Robinson riser move, I can now just take out these cards and turn them straight face down on top of the deck. And notice what's going to happen. Everyone is thinking about this king of spades. I'm saying follow the king of spades. But it's this card that's going to change, but all the attention is on this. They're going to try and track this card. So now I just literally take out this whole block of cards and turn it straight face over. And then I immediately spread the 4 cards here. And I say, which one do you think is the king of spades? And notice that the focus is not on this queen. The focus is here. You can actually see it with the camera itself. It replicates what the eyes are doing. The focus is on the back of the cards. If you want to at this point, I can just flick without revealing these 4 cards that are face down. So I could say, look, we don't need the rest of these. And it's like a casual, like we don't need the rest of the deck. But you can just put these face down on the table. You say, where do you think the king of spades is? So I can drop these into my pocket, for example. And from this point, the rest is just pantomime. I say, look, do you remember, did I take out the king first, second, third, or fourth? And if I did, would that be the first, second, third, or fourth card? Because these were face up. And if I mix them, can you track where that king of spades is? Of course, all this is just subterfuge because really they're now the 4 aces. Okay, so I've just quickly reset the deck. This time it's the 2 of hearts that's next to that face down queen. I'll show you a sort of exposed view of what's going on underneath. I'm going to run through the cards. I'm going to begin to up jog cards at random, like this. And then I'm going to get close towards the end of the deck and look for my sort of spotter cards as I get my break right here. And now, as I say, follow this card, I'm going to slide these up and then repin everything so that I can just strip straight out like this, spread over to show these have changed, being careful not to reveal this position right here. So these can go down south as I then use my subterfuge and my performance to misdirect them. This is how to set it up on the fly. The way I would do this is in between tricks. So I'd finish one trick and I would just allow my audience to talk about the trick as I'm just literally standing with the cards. Now you are burning my hands right now. Don't forget, in the real world, I have a face and I'm talking, or I'm allowing my audience to talk. As they are, I'm going to look at what cards on the face of the deck. Hopefully it's a busy design. If it's not, I would cut until I saw a busier design, or just spread through and cut to one, like a 10 of hearts. And now I'm going to spread through the deck looking for the mate of this card. So I'm going to look for the other red 10, just casually as I'm just standing around chatting or whatever, okay? When I see that 10, I've just culled it to the bottom, all right? So I'll do that again. Give the deck a shuffle. And I cut. In this case, we'll have the 6 of diamonds. I'm going to look for the other red 6 now. So I'm going to spread through the cards. And when I see that other red 6, in this case here, I'm simply going to cull it to the bottom of the deck, all right? And as I spread to the bottom, I'm going to pay attention to what card is here. In this case, the 2 of diamonds. Now that the deck is encased by the 2 red 6s, I'm going to get a pinky break underneath the bottommost 6, like this. And I'm going to do like a really lazy gravity half pass. Now, because there's no trick happening here, this is in the middle of just chatting. This is not really a move. I'm just going to flip that card upside down on the bottom of the deck. Really, really like almost openly, it doesn't matter. All right, so now I'm pretty much ready to perform. I can do one of two things. I can now either cull the 4 aces, just like I did the red 6, as I'm chatting before the effect begins, or I can do that in the middle of the effect. But either way, it would look like this. I'd spread through cards until I see the first ace, and then I would cull it out. The same would happen for the second ace. The same would happen for the third ace. And then the same would happen for the 4th ace here, as I'm just going through the deck. And make sure not to spread the last few. Square these up. And now I'm literally ready to perform the trick because my setup is 4 aces. The face down card, I memorized that 2 of diamonds. And now I can say, look, we'll take 4 cards out at random. Your job is to try and track the 4 cards. We have the Jack of Spades, the 5 of Hearts, the King of Hearts. We'll use the 2 of Hearts as the final card, okay? 4 random cards from 4 different places in the deck. Your job is actually to try and track the 5 of Hearts, okay? So watch, we'll take those cards out. We don't even need the rest of the deck. We can put that away. Now, where do you think the 5 of Hearts is? Yada, yada, yada. And then I can show that those cards have become the 4 aces. Hope you all enjoyed today's tutorial. If you haven't done so already, go and check out my Patreon. It's where I teach the best magic tricks that I've ever created, and they'll never go on YouTube. It's patreon.com/LloydB. There's over 45 exclusive tutorials, and this is like my A-list material. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button because I'll be back next week with another free tutorial here on YouTube. Peace.